Okay. How's it going, everybody? Are we live? Are we live? Can y'all see and hear me? Okay, do we have a signal? Are we live? All right, we live. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to run like a super fast test. If I press this button, you guys can see the chat now, like just over the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have this on during the actual showcase itself. This is just a quick little test. Okay, so it looks like that works. Turning that off. So what we're going to do is we're just going to be looking through, we're going to look through some of the new air combat stuff. I'm going to go into detail with it. It's going to be like I'm recording a video. I'm not going to be showing the, I'm not going to be showing chat. I'm not going to be responding to chat too much. And we'll save all of our questions and that kind of stuff towards the end. I'm just going to drop, something in the Discord and just say, stream is now live. So we're going to go for that. I'm going to get my two windows up, make sure stream and chat are healthy. Yeah, chat's way too big, but I want it to be readable. I'm still, I slapped that together super last minute. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Mr. President. I'm here with the beginning of one of the next major Awakening of the Rebellion overhauls, which is the air combat rework. So today we're going to be starting off showing the Empire because I want to. Last time I didn't show the Empire at all, so I'm just showing a little bit of love for everybody and just kind of going over the basics of what we're doing with the air combat. So the problem with air combat in the current version of AotR is that you can have a whole bunch of air units, like just like a group of 10, and that group of 10 is going to be able to destroy practically everything, just annihilate everything and get a massive win, and there's almost no amount of counterplay to that. Like if I got 10 TIE strikers, I could destroy vehicles, infantry, anti-aircraft guns, everything of the sort like that. That is no longer going to be the case. And then as well as we had some inconsistency with all of the weapons. So we used to have heavy air laser cannon, light air laser cannon, medium air laser cannon, blah, 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 blah. It just didn't make sense with how we had it set up. So I'm going to highlight the TIE Fighter here. First thing that you're going to notice is the hull. So the health of a lot of aircraft is lower than what it was previously. I think the TIE Fighter is still the same at 75, but I don't even remember the old stats anymore. But fighter armor is new, and the movement speeds are new. So fighter armor, I know I touched on it in the last stream, but just to go over it again, fighter armor is vulnerable to practically everything. So infantry fire, vehicle fire, explosives, grenade, whatever. If it gets hit, aircraft aren't meant to get hit. So if they get hit, it's going to take damage. And then it's got its same ability. And then the speed, the aircraft are a lot faster. They have different maneuverability ratings because they all have different turn rates, just to kind of simulate that, some things are going to be better at maneuver, some things are going to be slow, some things are going to be more armored. So just to be able to go from there. Now, with our TIE Striker, what you're going to see weapon-wise, you're going to peep the stats, but weapon-wise, you're going to see that we have a dual light linked cannon, just like on the TIE Fighter, but we also have a 1-2 burst light laser cannon. So with any sort of strike fighter or anything that is using a vehicle grade weapon on it, is just going to use the vehicle version of it. We're not going to have special versions of weapons just because it's for aircraft. So if you see something that's got like a laser cannon on it, it's going to be good at targeting other vehicles or targeting turret emplacements. But you're going to see a little bit more health, but that same fighter armor. Now, you guys are probably looking at this wondering, hey, we've got another guy. What's this? And this is the TIE Brute. So you're going to see a new armor type, heavy fighter armor. This is still vulnerable to a lot of threats on the battlefield, but it is not nearly as vulnerable to infantry grade fire. So it's not going to be degraded just by flying over the battlefield as much as the TIE Fighter would. Previously, the TIE Fighter felt a little bit useless in ground battles, just like it was some sort of scout that you paid for, and it was a very, very expensive scout, so a lot of the times it wasn't worth buying as an individual. So a lot of now with these new weapon types, new accuracies and all that, we're going to get to the action in just a moment. You're going to see that it is 100% worth it. Also, hey Starry, thank you for the 5, but it's Canadian money, so it doesn't count. Is it time to cut to commercial? That's a joke from a previous stream. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to take our fleet, and we can either try and engage our new aircraft in a battle for Hoth or in a battle against Quelor. And one is kind of going, hey, we're going to crack a fortress, and the other is just going to be exploring just some other capabilities with the aircraft. So, chat, I'm going to let it be up to you guys what we're going to go for first. Do we want to go for Quelor, or do we want to go for Hoth? And then I've also got a couple of space maps that Kuka has cooked up to show you guys. Hoth. All right. That's what we're doing. We're going to put an ISD in the lead, and we're going for it.
Hyperspace drive engaged. Battle imminent.
So, the space map for this that I have set up right now, it is not Hoth. This is Ord Obama. Now, every time Kuka's been cooking, he's just doing absolutely phenomenal with the sky domes and sky boxes. This is like I'm blown away.
Star Destroyer standing by.
Now, what we're gonna do from here is I'm going to deploy 2 Star Destroyers.
Moving to coordinates.
Now, a lot of the time, if you guys are on the AotR Discord, if you're not, you should go join. I will ask kind of at random intervals for unit feedback. And one of the biggest pieces of unit feedback that we got was that the Gladiator kind of sucked. So we gave it a little bit of a revisit just to take a peek. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with Gladiator, 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 and we're going to close this out for now. So, first thing that you're going to notice is, 1, Gladiator deploys its fighters very quickly compared to most other ships, and that is because the Gladiator is a strike carrier. Second, gone are the TIE Brutes, and it has a much more usable fighter loadout. Now, because in the last stream, the Acclimator 2 from AOTCW was brought over,
Your command, sir.
the Gladiator was a unit that a lot of people were questioning it. about, because it seemed like the Acclimator 2 was just going to be straight up better. Well, they perform different functions, you know. A Gladiator is meant to screen. It is meant to screen while the ISDs take on your bigger targets. And that comes from here. So, weapons on screen. First thing that you should notice is that it has an ability. So it will now have power to main batteries so that it can deal with those frigate and small cruisers much more effectively. Second, you're going to notice that the Gladiator is armed with 6 heavy flak, allowing it to screen fighters much, much better. So, we're going to go ahead and engage. And as for our Chatiators, we're going to go ahead and get our Nebulon Bs in position. And we're going to begin our bombing runs. Uh-oh, we got Corvettes coming up to the side. So when engaging smaller targets, you want to let the assault missiles fly. If you're engaging a larger target like a Nebulon B, it's a better idea to switch to power to main batteries. Okay. So we've got that. Gladiator got under the shield. Now, only thing that we haven't finished on this guy is getting the red blinky lights. But just like any other unit, it's going to have the red blinking lights just so that you've got the indication that power to main batteries is actually active.
Roger that. Order confirmed.
Get this last tie in here. Now, the space map layout itself is unchanged. It's just a skybox that's going, but it's Kuka's cooking. Uh-oh, we lost a Gladiator, huh? Well, that's not good. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to want to see it. So we're bringing in the big boy. The Praetor. Very expensive unit to deploy. But, oh, is she sexy. She is big sexy. A ship like this, sitting in orbit like this, in a map setting like this, is just absolutely amazing. Fun fact for those that don't know, you can turn off your UI by pressing I, and you can spin the camera around by holding down Control and your middle mouse button, and you can do this. You can get a lot of custom camera angles. So, if we release if we update the cinematic submod, then we'll be able to get it so that the fighter icons don't show up, and you can get some real good screenshots going. Praetor is such a photogenic unit.
Moving to those coordinates.
I've got them in my sights.
Sir,
So, I would say that is complete and total rebel annihilation. Not starting the first video off with a loss. Now, by the way, just like with any strike carrier, the Gladiator, the buffed Gladiator, only gets one wave, no reserve. As you can see, those hangars are not very deep. They can launch their bombers, and that's about it.
all combat personnel standing by.
And then you can see that the little flak explosions that are going off, or that were going off, so Gladiator puts in some good work. Uh-oh, they're coming out of the debris field. By the way, for those of you that don't know this, debris fields in AOTR, the reason why you want to sometimes have fights in these debris fields is that they can block fighter. They can block turbo laser rounds. They can block missiles. They can just absorb fire because, if you're firing through a debris field, there's a good chance that you're going to hit stuff. So if you want to increase your survivability in some cases, moving through a debris field is the right move. So we're going to send the Praetor over here, ISDs around. This Star Destroyer is going to go down here, and our Gladiators
Combat maneuvers initiated.
are going to
What is our
go
next move? For the glory
on
of
their
the
sides
Empire.
of the debris field,
Intercepting.
and then we can just watch the flak do its job. Okay. The orbit has been secured.
Underway.
So
Invasion commencing.
we're going to go ahead and land our ground troops. Now, just highlighting another Kuka mapping thing here. So, whenever Kuka is going to be working on ground maps, he is creating several different environments. So right now, this is Hoth at nighttime. This is a Hoth night assault. It is completely randomized on what environments you're going to get. Ooh, they got a lot of speeders. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to retreat. We're going to do the landing again, and we're going to see if we can get one of the other environments to show. Because I believe Hoth has 4 environment possibilities, 4 different time zones. Oop, ignore that. You didn't see that. So, going in again. I think we got the same one. Yeah, we did. So, we're going to go ahead, handle the retreat. So, I know I showed this in the last stream as well, not with this map, but just the dynamic lighting isn't the right word. We'll just call it a simulation of time zones. So if you have multiple battles over the same planet, it doesn't feel like, oh, we're just hitting the same ground over and over and over and over and over again. You can actually catch it at different time zones. Except me, because I can't catch at different time zones. I can only get night raids. So, and with what you can see up there, with all of Kuka's skyboxes that he's been doing, you can actually tell in the sky dome where the light source is coming from, and the shadows and everything are going to reflect that. So, we want to have a lot more consistent lighting. We're going to try and come for Remake, or come for Remake, and their title as the prettiest. This is my last attempt. If I don't get to, if I don't get something other than a night raid, we're just doing night raid. There we go. So this is Blizzard Hoth. So, I believe the other two are the classic day assault and like Hoth at sunset. The one at sunset is my personal favorite. So, we've got our snow troopers landing. So, I'm thinking what we're going to do is we're going to go with the classics.
On my way, sir.
And then one group of ATSTs.
On my way.
Just cuz. And then we're going to have, because they have a lot of aircraft up, we're going to do what the Empire never did. And we're going to actually provide fighter cover.
Reporting.
So, we're going to go ahead, get some troopers in their various walkers. Now, let's see what we're up against with these snow speeders. So, you're going to notice fighter armor, hull 60. They have high turn rate. They are much slower than TIE fighters, but the T-47 is rocking the same weapon system that TIE fighters are rocking with a light dual-linked cannon. And you can see just model-wise, those guns are fairly large for the craft.
Ready
So,
for command,
what
sir.
we're going to do is we're going to start picking them off.
Commencing attack run.
I like to assign
Changing course to
2
intercept.
aircraft per every target.
Acquiring target. Advancing on target.
And we're going to begin. Now, during the dogfight process themselves, what we're going to see is that, first of all, when aircraft are under fire, they are suppressed. And that means that their rate of fire for their return fire is not going to be as high. It's a 50% reduction with aircraft suppression. Any sort of dedicated anti-air is going to apply this effect as well. And it seems like we got
Yes, sir.
completely rinsed.
TIE squadron standing
Okay.
by. Ready for battle.
So, air superiority. Surprise, surprise. Not a TIE fighter's best job, especially if they're rocking the amount of vehicles and entrenched positions that they could be. So, we're going to begin moving walkers forward to a staging area, and then our TIE fighters, which I did not put on a control group,
Warm up. Awaiting
our
orders.
TIEs are going to start doing what they do best, and that
All
is
fighters attack.
ground pounding.
Stay in formation.
So,
Copy.
no more useless TIE fighters. They are able to provide very good infantry and vehicle support. There we go, there we go. And they are decently accurate and do a good amount of damage.
Attacking
So, TIE fighters,
fire at will.
they're not the best thing ever, but they're not weak either. So, uh-oh, seems like we got an anti-aircraft gun up.
Ion engines prime.
Now, just as seen in the previous stream as well, the TIE Fighter does a splash area suppression, even if it does not do damage to the infantry. So you can use TIEs to shoot at a whole group of infantry and have them keep their heads down and lower their rate of fire. That's what suppression means, 50%. So, Snowspeeder coming in hot. That's a good shot, by the way. That's a screenshot right there. So,
I copy.
we're going to go ahead and shoot this guy down.
Yes, Commander.
Now, other completely random thing just in unit balance, you will notice that on this AT-AT, one, it is no longer called the Elite AT-AT. This is just the standard AT-AT. And it lost armor pierce, but it gained some health. So it's more of a
Destination
tank, more of a transport
Proceeding to
than it
target.
is a
On my way,
tank
sir.
destroyer like it used to be.
AT-AT ready. Awaiting orders.
All right.
Scouting. Armored transport ready.
Transport, you're going to go here. Mortars, that just won't do. Now, a lot of where all these Kuka maps, they really shine with their lighting. Whoa, what could this be? Rebels popping smoke. Sounds like something we're going to talk about a little bit later in the stream. Okay. Now, we did lose our ties. They do have T-47 still up and operational.
Moving out. Roger that. Form up.
We're going to hold our AT-ATs here until we're able to take the landing zone.
Ready, sir.
Now, just from firing, again, because it's got fighter armor, if we had our infantry deployed and we're shooting at this T-47, we'd be able to do a
On my way.
considerable amount of damage to it.
Awaiting your order.
Hey, get out of here, V-25.
Copy.
What am I being engaged by? Armored rifles.
I copy.
Okay. Snowtroopers deploy. So, I think what we're going to deploy next is some ATAAs. Troopers, get out of the... There we go.
Reporting. Right away.
So, I think what we're going to deploy is an ATAA.
Ready.
Because sometimes
Advancing.
doing the dogfight
Moving out.
isn't the best move, and we need to have our AA walkers. Uh-oh. And these rebels are not giving up without a fight. So we're going to get anti-aircraft down. We're going to get suppression down. And we will get... We'll get our last group of ties in.
Deploying squadron.
Yes.
All right, boys.
Reporting. Let's move
Cross
out.
forward, begin your assault.
Target acquired.
They fortified their trench line pretty good.
AT-AT destroyed.
Now, ATAA. A problem, again, another problem that we've had in standard AOTR is the fact that flak is this just completely oppressive device that can destroy anything and everything air-related that flak can just kind of shred. So what you're going to get is flak has been spread into two different types. You have a light flak and a heavy flak. When you build a flak turret, you are building a heavy flak gun. When you are building a ATAA, you are actually getting light flak. So here's the difference. Light flak, if it hits an air target, you're going to see the little shield with a... Well, we'll see if we can... yeah. So you'll see a shield icon with an arrow pointing down pop above it. As you can see there, this means that its defense has been lowered. It has been lowered by 25%. So this unit is now debuffed, and it takes 25% additional damage from anything else that's shooting at it. Now, the heavy flak, it does 50% debuff, so it will take the 50% more damage from whatever it's being shot at. Light flak is faster firing and more accurate. Heavy flak is slower, does more damage, has larger explosion radius.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to use our ties, and we're going to clear out
Attacking.
the rest
Targeting.
of these guys. Now, these air defenses that they've got are quite stiff. Now, to compensate for the extra speed, the air defense velocity is quite a bit higher. Do they have flak of their own? Uh-oh. That
AT-AT
just won't do.
Affirmative.
Now, you can see the difference there. Fast, or slower moving projectile. And this ATAA. If we can get her into position
All right, men, take cover.
and get her firing, you'll be able to see kind of the difference. But I think we're gonna... Yeah. So, faster firing, higher accuracy, much easier to engage targets with, but heavier flak just does more. Now, what we're going to do, the rebels have the U-wing so that they can shut down enemy air defense. As you can see right now, they've dug in, they've got their air defenses up. We don't have suppression of enemy air defense like the rebels do. We have
Right away.
destruction
Moving out.
of enemy air defense.
Heading out.
So we are going to
Inputting
go ahead
coordinates.
and get some guys down.
At maximum unit capacity.
Ready.
Deploy.
AT-AT ready.
Destroyed.
Armor
Unit
transport
destroyed.
ready.
Yes, sir. Unit destroyed.
Yes, Commander. Ready.
So,
Fall out.
AT-AT destroyed.
first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the TIE Brute on the ground in all of its armored glory. Yes, that turret does work.
Unit
So,
destroyed.
In here.
our AT-ATs got shredded. We're now going to clear a path for our bombers to go through. Weapons for the TIE Brute, you've got the same dual light-linked cannon that the TIE fighters are rocking, and then the turret is a medium laser, so it is going to be a very good tank buster. All right, perfect.
Firing.
Flak is engaging. We're flying right at it. Now, as with the TIEs, the TIE fighters would have taken a lot more damage. 115 hull and heavy fighter armor means we're going to do a lot. And we're going to start clearing out those defenses so that our troops can advance. Now, TIE Brute is a lot slower, and it is a lot easier to shoot down. As we just saw, it got hit by a anti-vehicle
Changing course
weapon,
to
so we're actually going to turn to engage this aircraft, anti-aircraft turret here.
advancing on target.
Now, because they are slower and easier to intercept, what we're going to do, or what we're going to be afraid of, is actually smart fire missiles like what we're seeing right now.
Eyes reporting in.
Where are the bulk of our forces? We're going to
Target
advance,
acquired.
penetrate their
Choose your
trench line this
reinforcements.
way,
Moving out. Reinforcements canceled.
get some extra units
Moving out.
down,
Order acknowledged.
Bombardment of
and then we'll take a look at the new TX-130 model as well. Whew, that hurt.
Orders, sir.
So, rockets, explosives are the ultimate weakness for anything aircraft related.
Commander, they're hitting us. Brigade standing by.
So, new Imperial Saber tank, Grimly and Kalani combo doing the model and texture. Just like how it is in the Clone Wars, you can even see the missile sticking up out the side there.
Where'd he go? Armor ready.
And we're going to
moving to
Moving to
go ahead and penetrate this trench line. TIE Brutes are going to be providing fire support.
Reporting in.
Ready for battle.
Unit destroyed. Unit destroyed.
ATSTs for the win.
Unit destroyed.
Ooh, that hurt.
Unit destroyed. I'm on them. Squad, move out.
Now, one thing,
Roger that.
well, just another thing that you're going to notice is this fight is going on a lot longer
Fire!
than it usually should. Now, obviously, I'm not playing at my 100% because I'm still trying to prove a point. But one of the changes that have happened is just like how we did it in Clone Wars, not to the same extent, but we have increased the number of reserves on the garrisons so that the fights can go on longer, and it actually feels like you have to push through the defenses, because on fortress maps like this, it feels like you crack the enemy fortress a little bit too early, and then you can just roll through their second line of defenses. But our TIE Brutes have done their job, it looks like, and these bombers are going to be able to get through and knock out this bunker turret. They tried to fire missiles and failed.
Awaiting orders. Copy. Affirmative. Choose your
Okay.
reinforcements.
Well, we're going to
Moving.
get a couple of other units down on the ground because it seems like we need some help.
Moving out.
We're gonna get
Heading out.
sabers, and we'll bring this
On the
guy
way.
just for funsies. So, I guess we'll talk about a new Imperial unit. I have been asking for this thing for so long. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting you the Phase 0 Dark Trooper. The Phase 0 Dark Trooper. Well, what makes these guys so special? One, they have not jetpacks, but they have jump packs. So what that means is they move just like any normal unit. You can't just jetpack them anywhere, but they have a range. So it's about that far. And if I was to jump pack them, they, as a squad, will move together and land at their destination. So very handy for capturing positions. What these guys are armed with, and you're going to see underneath these guys with the lightning there, these are arc casters. So just like how they were set up in the classic Battlefront games, they shoot a electric pulse that will do a infantry stun. So these guys are wonderful support infantry. The guys that don't have the arc casters, they have standard E11s, and some of them are going to carry grenades. So these are not the best assault troops, but they are very good support units. But the one thing to keep in mind is A, they are not considered infantry, they are considered droids, so they are immune to suppression. So they can't be suppressed. And two, they have a lot of health for infantry. They're 50. To put this into perspective, I'm going off memory here, but I believe the B2 Super Battle Droid is 25. So these guys are very, very tough cookies. And so we've got this bunker captured. We're going to
Base is under attack.
begin advancing. Since I've got it here, ATMAA. This guy used to fire its missiles in volleys of 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and at a single target. I've increased the amount of time between each shot, so now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is so that it can better engage different aerial targets and not overkill everything. So these things are going to provide a more consistent area of coverage. And then they also have fire smart missiles so that they can turn around and engage ground vehicle targets like you're seeing right now. So we are going to go ahead and reach the base.
Spreading out. On my way.
Support order acknowledged.
Now, here's why I really love Phase Zeros. So let's say we get into, we've got a whole bunch of enemies in defensive positions that are coming out here. Well, if you want to make their life very difficult, you can start jumping units in behind them.
Yes.
And in some cases, see, that's what the arc caster is going to look like, by the way. It has completely stunned the whole group. So now we've tied them up, which means we've essentially pushed them out of these defensive positions so we can walk up and eliminate the base.
Warm up.
I did not realize that I had my phone on. Sorry, guys.
Orders. Advancing.
So, just like that, we have we have conquered Hoth in a blizzard. Blizzard Force has done what they needed to do with minimal equipment losses. Nothing that doesn't matter against the Empire. So, I'm not going to show you guys what the garrison on here was, but this is a Tier 3 Alliance base, and they do have a randomized defensive garrisons. Man, these guys just look so good. Really giving that classic Battlefront vibe.
Yes, sir.
Choose your reinforcements.
They didn't surrender immediately. Ah, okay. So I guess we can just deploy some strikers real quick to just deal with that. Because that's just inconvenient.
TIE interceptor here.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes, Commander.
Did we lose a
Interceptor
striker?
squad reporting.
Dude, I didn't even see that.
Closing on time. Commencing attack run.
Do we have a guy that's stuck here? What is that?
Reporting.
Troopers, check it
Right
out.
away, sir. Squad, advance.
Now, TIE Strikers, as I showed you earlier, they have light laser cannons. So, not nearly as effective as the TIE Brute was, but you can see the different shots that they fire. I was going to use the
Bombing run
Dark
available.
Troopers to jump up here and grab the sensor node.
Right away.
Because being able to capture objectives like that is very, very handy.
Acknowledged.
Pursuing enemy forces.
Order acknowledged. Target confirmed.
Okay, so why
Ready.
oh why have they not surrendered yet?
Brigade standing by.
Orders, sir. Changing course to intercept. Acquiring target. Advancing on target.
Yes, Commander.
So there's just somebody like stuck in the ground or something here?
Waiting.
I'm gonna do the big no-no.
man.
Okay, so Battle of Hoth concluded, kind of showing the lighter side of the Imperial aircraft. Very strong defense on Hoth. Now, just continuing to go on it, another unit that we got a lot of feedback on is this guy, the broadside cruiser. This thing sucks currently. I used to call this a very underrated unit. We changed the damage type because it was overperforming, and now it's underperforming. So the broadside has been restored to the glory that it should have. So what we're going to do
Moving to sector.
is we're going to put the broadside into a lovely little fight, and we're just going to show how well this guy can do. So, this is the space map for Raxus, another wonderful Kuka Cook. I really love this skybox, especially even just looking away from the planet, just the nice like orange and yellowish and the glow that you've got going on.
Reporting.
So,
we're moving out.
we've got a whole bunch of big angry people that are over here, and they don't like us very much, and we don't like them, so we're going to go kill them. ISD-1s, I don't see a lot of people doing this,
Evasive
but
maneuvers.
ISD-1s, when they get moving, they're actually pretty fast.
Star Destroyer standing by.
So we're going to get deployed into position, and what we're going to do is we're going to set up a Praetor so that our Praetor can tank, and we're going to set up a firing line of broadside cruisers.
Bombers at the ready. Engines activated.
With these ships, they're not going to have a ton of
Choose your
starfighter
reinforcements.
support.
Entering hyperspace.
There they
Now,
are. Blast them.
just a downside about our Praetor,
Reporting.
Praetor is blind,
Moving out, sir.
so she can't see very far. So things like what I just did right there,
Order confirmed.
that is definitely a weakness
Ready.
that can happen. Oh my, they've got lots and lots of scary things. We're going to get our Praetor in here to engage. First target is going to be that Mando Merc,
Choose your reinforcements.
because that Mando Merc is rocking diamond boron missiles.
Location confirmed. Advancing. Confirmed.
Now, one thing that you will have probably noticed is that the pop cap for the broadside has actually gone
Broadside
up.
cruiser
It's gone
reporting.
up from 13 to 18. And that is because
Engines have been destroyed.
Attacking.
even
Enemy
though this
in
guy's
range.
on brace for impact,
Yes, sir.
Praetor, you're going to engage the Kelby.
Yes, Commander.
This ISD, you're going to just,
Sir, we have lost the shield
we're going to
generator.
engage this
Order
Kelby.
confirmed.
Yes,
Destroy
Commander.
the shield generator.
And then we're going to leave the broadsides to knock out this Mando Merc.
Cruiser reporting. Nowhere to run. Enemy in range.
The broadside is a ship that will be feared once again.
Our hangar bay
Mag
is
pulse
down.
missiles to disable their targets, diamond borons to just absolutely
Falling
cut
out of
through
formation.
them. Ooh. And, okay,
At your command.
they're changing the calculus.
Destroy their
We
lasers.
can't have that
Take out the iron cannons.
that ship
Awaiting
firing.
your orders.
Get the ISD in
Full
here.
speed.
Awaiting orders.
Awaiting
Praetor,
your
come
command.
on, you gotta hold in there, buddy. And then the broadside also has heavy concussion missiles so that it can deal with a Corvette threat. Because the most common way to destroy a
Location
broadside
confirmed.
is by sending hunters after it.
Floating on target.
Okay. And now
Initiating attack.
we're just going to continue
Concentrating firepower.
targeting hull with broadsides is just, it's your friend. I mean, you're going to watch as even something as feared as a Cadelby can get carved up pretty easily just by a single
Vessel
broadside.
cruiser ready.
Awaiting your command. Move out.
Coming around.
ISDs chase him down. Nobody outruns the Empire. Man, this looks so good.
Reporting.
Hostile Corellian
Commencing
destroyer.
Reporting.
Vengeance,
Target
get rid of it.
eliminated.
Weapons armed. Move to attack. Advancing.
Actually, broadsides, you're going to close in and do anti-personnel duty.
Receive orders.
Systems
Or I mean,
online.
anti-corvette duty.
Confirmed.
Target destroyed.
So, because they also have their anti-heavy concussions, if these guys decide that they want to go broadside hunting, well, we can hunt them for too.
Your command, sir.
Ready.
Oh, and with the Praetor, we have blast marks that will appear on the unit as it
Yes,
gets damaged.
I've got him.
So, Maxim did a absolutely wonderful job setting this guy up.
Frequency open.
But we don't want to lose our Praetor,
Roger that. Full speed.
so we're going to retask 2 of our broadsides. Oh, that's just dirt nasty.
Open fire.
Praetor's got brace so she can stay around in a fight for a good while.
Comlink active. Reporting in.
Praetor to tank, broadside to kill.
Excellent shot.
That's
I've got them
this
in my
is a
sights.
very, very scary Imperial fleet. Broadsides behind something is that's the way you want to use them. Very pretty model. We've had this. This ship has been so underappreciated. And then also, broadside has 2-point defense guns that you can see those little turrets right above the missile launchers that are there.
Awaiting
And
orders.
then we'll see if I can. Oh, Star Viper down.
Victory is ours, men.
Easy win. Empire Gaming. So, you guys have probably noticed that we have a couple of heroes down here. What we're going to go ahead and buy is we're going to buy the Tactical Air Commander.
Requesting assistance.
Awaiting your orders.
Because we had some starfighter losses in the last one.
Moving into position.
So we lost our ties and we lost our brutes. So we're going to go ahead and pick up a air commander. So what we're going to primarily focus on now is a little bit more of the air-to-air dogfighting. Uh-oh. Canderous tank. That's not good. Welcome to Quelor. This is one of my favorite maps right now.
Ready for command, sir. Squadron standing
Tactical Air Controller. TIE interceptors on the ground. Text for these guys is not done, but the two things that you need to notice: 1, very fast; 2, very maneuverable; 3, new weapon type. It has 2 rapid burst blaster cannons. Rapid burst blaster cannons, high velocity, high rate of fire, sprays down enemy aircraft. So, oh, it seems like there's hostile T-16s over
All
here.
fighters attack. Attack!
That is what a TIE
Engines
interceptor does.
activated.
Not the best tank killer, not the best infantry killer,
Fire!
but it
Open fire!
is a very, very effective
Location
starfighter.
plotted. Descending. Ion engines primed. Deploying squadron.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit unconventional, because it seems like they have a lot of fighters running around and I only have 2 interceptors. So what we're going to
Choose
do
your reinforcements.
is we're going to do a gunship assault.
Navigating to system.
And
Ready for battle.
where we're going to go from here... Oh, is this a minigun skiff?
Right away.
Now, because of the TIE interceptors and their speed, by the way, their speed is their survivability.
Roger that. Attack that target.
And then you're going to see the cloud skybox over Quelor as well.
Engaging the enemy.
These guys are fast. Speed is their survivability. They can outrun and outmaneuver some types of flak, but they are very, very weak with only 40 HP, so they can't take a hit at all.
You won't
All
live
right.
that much longer.
We're going to do 1 rocket team per transport.
Move out. Reporting. Right away.
So, we're full up. What we're going to do, our objective, we are going to take control of this airstrip, and we're going to get right into the back of their base from behind. So,
Ready.
2
Yes,
transports up in
Commander.
the air.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go here. The IDT is not nearly as good as the LAAT from Clone Wars. The main advantage of them is that you get 2 of them. They have less health, worse weapons, but they're fast, and you get a decent amount of them. And they are equipped with gunship armor. Gunship armor is resistant to flak and the laser AA fire. So gunships, the reason for this is we wanted gunships to be actually capable of doing their jobs, of being able to run troops into a battlefield, provide fire support, but actually be able to survive long enough to drop off those troops, return to the landing zone, pick up more troops, and deliver them. So if you wanted to do a strategic airlift, some people like doing that. It is really, really fun. You can do that with a gunship. So we're going to sneak around the south side of this island here. And you're also going to notice that the IDT is quite fast. So I'm going to explain how I do this. I'm going to hold down Alt so that you see this, my cursor changed to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm setting waypoints along the river
The enemy is approaching.
Yes, sir.
so that we can go here. They're going to follow this path. By the way, the IDT, all the gunships have new movement types as well. The IDT is very, very fast now. So it is not nearly as tanky as some of the other gunships, but it is very good at maneuvering and getting into position.
Target critical.
Ooh, okay. Looks like they've got an air-to-air fighter. The IDT is armed with missiles of its own, so it was able to provide that ground fire.
Moving.
But that Kizarak is
Flying
armed.
there now. Roger that.
Now, this airfield, the reason why I wanted to capture it is if you capture this airfield, you can actually get T-16s back here, and T-16s are very, very important.
Guns ready.
So
Moving to
we're going
location.
to go ahead,
On your command.
drop behind enemy lines.
Waiting for command.
Mass driver, their AA turret, doesn't bother me that much, because we're gunship armor. They gotta survive.
Yes, Commander.
Get troops down.
Commander.
All right, men,
Sir.
take cover.
Yes, sir. Moving. Guns ready.
We're gonna use our gunships there,
Attacking target.
and
Fire at will.
uh-oh. We found their Canderous
Watch for enemy
tanks,
ships.
but at least they're tied up.
Waiting for command.
Yes, Commander.
So just to make the point,
Flying there now.
if I was to fly these gunships over,
Yes, Commander.
they will be able to survive
Moving to location.
over the battlefield. Ooh, good missile out.
Yes, sir.
And then even return to our tactical air controller.
Awaiting orders.
We've knocked out their base, and we can move up from the south.
Sustaining minor
Choose your
damage.
reinforcements.
And then,
Setting
for our
coordinates.
own ground assault,
Reinforcements canceled.
Destination set.
we are going to
Order
get
acknowledged.
At maximum unit capacity.
AT-ATs
Ready.
down. Now, this guy is now called the AT-AT/P. You can, I'll let you fill in the blank for what the
Yes,
the
sir.
P stands for. Maybe it's prototype, maybe it's, I don't know, Porsche.
Armor ready.
Now, by the
I
way,
await your instructions.
our tactical air controller uses naval infantry as the model, and you've got the naval gunner as the actual gunner for the MG in the squad.
Bombing run available.
Yes, sir. Your orders?
So what
Standing
we're gonna
by.
do
Affirmative.
is we're gonna load this guy up in the IDT,
Commander.
and we're gonna make
Moving.
a push
Sir.
forward. And we're going to go ahead and push these guys forward.
Guns ready.
Oh, the rebels actually took control of this sector. That's funny.
Now.
Heavy Black Sun Mercenary. Oh. Heavy Black Sun Mercenaries. Particle Cannon. E-Web Repeating Blaster Cannon.
Sustaining critical damage.
Uh-oh.
Roger that.
That gunship got blasted. So they're not invincible. But they are tougher than what they used to be.
Taking enemy flak on your command. Heavy flak.
Now, Morning Star. 3 medium-linked cannons. Now, the medium-linked cannons, I showed you before with the lights that they were able to suppress enemy infantry. Well, this can suppress aircraft, infantry, and small vehicles. So those early game technicals, ATPTs, anything that's classified as a small vehicle also gets suppressed by these. These have a higher penetration rate, which is why they do better in the gunship hunting role, whereas a light-linked cannon, a gunship would be able to shrug off those rounds. So you actually want to think about what type of units are what type of air units are going up against what type of threats.
Reporting in.
Unit destroyed.
So we're gonna go ahead and
way.
just use our AT-AT as a breakthrough mechanism. We've got our command post that's down there. Unfortunately, our air commander is practically dead. But that's okay. We don't need him anymore. We've got our ground assault. Dead air if volume is low. Is there an audio? Chad, is there an audio issue? Is there like buzzing in the background? Because I know I messed with my mic a little bit to try and make it better. Or did I? Oh, okay. Oh, yep. That's our missile network going off.
Roger that.
And you guys were scaring me, making me think that I had an audio issue.
Form up. Over there.
Checking sector.
I'm surprised that this guy's still alive, honestly. Naval troopers. Now, do you guys want to see a bigger presence of the Imperial Navy?
I await your
If you do,
instructions.
you gotta tell me in the comments.
Just give me a target. Scanning target.
Now, another thing with these, with the TX-130s is if these guys don't fire their rockets 2 at a time anymore, they fire them like one rocket, wait a few seconds, next rocket, then reload. So this way, we found that they were actually overkilling a lot of the rebel vehicles. So now they should be more effective in being able to engage targets in their proper order.
Unit destroyed.
Copy.
Uh-oh. Saber tank down. Get out of here with that cancerous tank.
Yes, sir. Men, prepare for assignment.
Oh, they're gonna try and push into the town, huh? Hide the remainder of their units there? It's just a bad idea. AA can finish off.
Pod ready. In my sight.
Can finish off this guy. Boom.
Reporting.
Easy.
Choose your reinforcements.
we're going to go ahead and clean house
Moving out.
Reinforcements canceled.
Heading out.
with strikers.
Location set.
At maximum unit capacity.
Yes, sir. New coordinates. Heading out. Moving to fire. Yes, Commander. Weapons armed.
Form up. Awaiting orders.
Now, these guys are dead. Who's
Attacking.
still alive?
Targeting. Firing.
Affirmative.
One reason why I like this map so much, especially as Empire assaults, doesn't this just look right? Imperial walkers with air support, just walking down a town street,
I'll take care of this.
smoke rising from the buildings.
The day is ours. Well done, gentlemen.
Okay,
Conquered.
so that's going to give us the Empire section of this. And I'm going to go ahead and load up the Rebels. We'll look at some Rebel changes. Always on Expert, always play Expert. Just throwing that out there. So, we're rocking some colored squadrons. Now, just some non-air stuff to go over real fast. We've switched up a couple of things. One, you can see Welcome Back Blue Squadron. We've also got Scion Squadron, which is a generic T-47 commander. Same thing as a Blue Squadron is for ground X and U wings, Gold Squadron for Y wings in space, Red Squadron, blah 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 blah. What we're gonna do is just to show you, one, the Rebel Tier 1 infantry are sector forces. These guys are now more about speed than they are about staying power. So getting in and out of their positions. So they both have sprint on them now instead of spread out. The Alliance Army, if you want to be in a slugging match with the Empire, the Alliance Army is what you want to be using. So the Alliance Army troopers, they lost sprint because now it's on their sector forces. They just have take cover. They did get a couple of thermal detonators mixed into their squads, but they also have proton charges. So these guys are good at clearing out buildings, turrets, anything that they could face conventionally with explosives. Supporting them are the Alliance Army support platoons. They have smoke, which provides a 50% damage increase, or maybe it's 25. I don't remember now. Now I'm doubting myself. So, but it provides a defense increase for units that are in the smoke screen. The guys that say ion grenade in there, I did not update the text, but they no longer carry ion grenades, but they have stun blasters, so that they can take one infantry unit out of the fight, but lock a whole squad into place, making it a lot easier for them to get killed by the Alliance Army platoons. This is probably going to be your guys' favorite. The Alliance Army Rocketeers, they have lost their mines, and they have gained a swap to ion rockets. So not smart fire missiles, but dumb fire ion rockets, so that they can provide stuns from a distance. And then your suppression guys are getting fire position instead of take cover, and that's because the Tier 3 Spec Force guys are getting a whole bunch of changes, but those aren't ready to be shown yet. Now, from the jump, your U-Wings and your Z95s, they are unchanged from how they were previously shown in the stream, but we'll look at that in a moment. You've got your Sector Forces vehicles. with your light speeder company, assault speeder company, and your tank destroyers. And then you've got your T1B as your light flak AA, just like how the light flak on the ATAA was. Your T1C is your missile-based anti-air that can also swap to smart missiles. And, ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited return as the Alliance Vehicle Commander is the T1A. So, the T1A, it's back. We've got the T1A, T1B, T1C. Now, this guy, your commander, is now the rebel counterpart to the aircraft technician, or the Imperial air controller guy. So he's still going to come with his U-wing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our X-wings up here. Our T-47s down here. And then Blue Squadron over here. So, other thing that I did not, I'm going to move these guys to this fleet slot, that I did not touch on previously. The border raid mechanic is going to be coming to AotR. You can see with the star that's right here. We're going to try and update the unit icons to show the star in the icon so you get an idea of who can raid and who cannot. So, Blue Squadron can raid, T-47s cannot. Scion Squadron cannot. The X-Wing can raid. You can have up to 3 aircraft raid units at a time. The Z-95 can raid. The U-Wing can raid. The HTT cannot. So, just giving you an idea of who can do what. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go
Tactical battle imminent.
back over here to BIS. Going back to the Raxus map, because there was a decent number of, well, not even going into that. If you guys remember Operation Christmas Lights from the last stream, where I was able to use a whole bunch of Black Sun XTS mine layers and just completely decimate an enemy defensive entrenched position because they had to come out and cross through the minefield. Well, how do you counter that exactly? So, first thing we're going to show is the Dauntless. The Dauntless has been hit with the Nerf bat. So, no longer does it provide its own jamming. It is rock and brace for impact, so it's going to be a lot tougher. And the bursts that it fires are going to be shorter bursts. So, this is going to make it so that the Dauntless is not the end-all, be-all, capital ship killer answer to everything like it is currently. You can just win every fight with Dauntlesses. So, if you want that capability in a ship that's not the Nebulon B, this is where the best friend of the Rebel Alliance is going to come into play, the Liberator Cruiser. This thing is such an underrated unit. It is such an underrated unit. It's 20 pop cap, same as a Gladiator. It's got stun ions, it's got turbos, it carries a good fighter complement with the Cutlasses and the U-Wing to provide support for them. And she's got flak and heavy laser cannons. Wonderful ship for screening.
Delivering our payload, boss.
Uh-oh. Whenever you hear that, that means mines have been laid. Now, this is the mine layer. You can see what we're going to do. We're going to stop here.
They won't know
Jump
what
into
hit 'em.
light speed.
Deploy,
Secure all
deploy.
fighters.
Red Squadron, go. Gold Squadron, go. Notice how that after when the mine layer deploys, the mines are actually no longer visible. So, we know that the minefields are actually hidden until you stumble upon them and discover them. So, when you discover a minefield is when you're going to see the blinky field. There's the visual for it. So as you can see right here, we have now stumbled into this minefield. Oh no, it's a trap.
Awaiting orders.
They're using freighters. The mines are going through. And owie, that hurts. Every time you go through the minefield, you are triggering mines to explode. If you want to get around this, or you want to bypass the minefield, you can use sensor jamming or point defense. Anything of the sort like that will actually intercept the mines. Now, just going over it again, the Black Sun under the Zyzer Tech is going to get some additional armed freighters. The Type C repair droids, and it's more of a destroyer with stun ion equipped. The bulk freighter has had its cargo hatches converted into small hangars, so they carry starfighters as well as supplement drop and or turbo ions. The mine layer, and then if we can find it, there's another freighter that does jamming. What is this? I got a Sabile? That's not fair. So, while our jamming is going on, our Dauntless, for the most part, is going to be okay. So, the more and more we stumble through this minefield, as you can see, we're actually pushing the mines away. That jamming has expired. We're going to go for our next set of jammers.
Those look expensive.
Picking up signals.
Sir?
And then we're going to come down this way.
Keep your eyes open for those fighters.
The cheap option, huh?
Ooh.
Yes, Commander.
Operator cruiser here.
Now that we are not jamming around the Dauntless, we can see that we're taking damage going through the mines. Ah, there's the other freighter. Asymmetric turret layout.
Cruiser standing by.
Cruiser responding. Command received.
Watch for enemy
Minefields go so hard. And they've got the red blinking lights is for the explosive mines. There is a Quelor net, which is a minefield that has the blue blinking lights. When you use the two together, that's why I called it Christmas lights, which is like ion mines.
Cruiser responding. All ground.
So let's go ahead and just rinse this Sabioth down.
Turbo lasers armed. Attacking.
Ready to commence.
So, good stuns from the Liberators.
Weapons charged.
Dauntless, you can go ahead and give them good news.
Weapons operating.
Oh, I lost Gold Squadron. That's tough. Red Squadron, by the way, offensive formation.
Fire.
Higher rate of fire, faster, lower defense. Since we did have the Brace for Impact buff in Clone Wars, that takes effect here in AotR as well, so they don't have as low of a rate of fire as they did previously.
We're ready, sir.
So, we've cleared all the mines. Our ships have survived. Now, that was only 2 minefields with jamming present, so if there was an abundance of, let's say there was 6 mine layers, like, you would want to have some ships to sweep that.
What are your orders, sir?
We're
Cruiser
going to
online.
destroy some of their stuns so they can't just keep disabling
They've
us.
taken out our shield generator.
Uh-oh,
Liberator standing by.
that's not good.
Reporting.
Roger that.
So, Dauntless, still very, very good. Still worth the tech and the money that you have to pay for it, and still worth the pop cap. We didn't want to go too hard with the nerf on this unit because it still needs to be relevant in the New Republic era. So, this guy is, it's going to do our job very well, and the Liberator is going to be providing wonderful support
Victory is ours.
alongside it. So, unfortunate the loss of those two squadrons, but it's a sacrifice worth paying. So what we're going to go ahead and do, just to finish off the
Order confirmed.
Dauntless and Liberator stuff,
Imminent.
is we're going to go ahead and engage at yet another wonderful Kuka map cook. So this is a updated layout for Star Ghost's Fondor map. Or, Fondor. Foros, that's what I meant. So this is how Foros is going to look.
Form up.
So what we're going to do is
Around.
we're going to go hunting for that Gladiator. We'll send the Liberators together
Hyperdrive engaged.
and the Dauntless around the side.
Liberator cruiser here. Cruiser en route.
I get no reading.
Weapons charged.
Awaiting orders. On my way. Can you see them from where you are?
Cruiser responding. Liberator moving out.
Copy.
Ready.
So, and again, Strike Carrier, no reserves, deploys its fighters quite
We've
quickly.
located the enemy.
Turrets are on these shipyards,
Turbo lasers armed. Clear the
so
flight
it
deck.
is a good idea to steer
Setting
clear
course.
of them. Now, how the Liberator compares up to the Gladiator, the Gladiator does its Strike Carrier functionality by giving bombers so that it has extra damage output. The Liberator does fighters and support so that it can counter the Gladiator quite well. Gladiator has the firepower, Liberator has the
We're ready,
stuns.
sir.
We're going to turn this off. Diamond Borons. That's not good.
What are your orders, sir?
They've got a broadside.
Cruiser
That's really not
online.
good.
Liberator standing by.
Now suddenly that strike capability is going to be pretty important.
I've got enemies on my scopes.
Target confirmed.
So
Multiple
we want to
enemy
knock out
It's as good as
all
gone.
of these bombers.
Reporting.
Okay.
Heading out.
Offensive formation, go. But the Gladiator has flak,
Lasers locked.
so it's going to be able to hurt my fighters pretty bad. Cutlass fighters are armed with heavy concussions, which are not the best for engaging fighters. They're good at engaging corvettes. So
We've got multiple enemies.
I copy.
Come on, hold together. What's steering down?
Liberator cruiser here.
Offline.
well,
Fire.
we've got
Targeting systems
the worst case scenario right now, and that is the Dauntless, which can no longer jam for itself, is being engaged by the broadside cruisers. So we're going to try and break through.
Come on, hold together.
Weapons charged.
And you're real good, didn't they? What's steering down?
But our Liberators,
Cruiser responding.
Yes, sir.
oh please, they're going to go for our Liberators. No, kill the Dauntless. This wasn't part of our deal.
Commander. Take out the missile launchers.
Ready.
Well, let's see just how bad broadsides will do. What terrible, terrible things.
Turbo lasers armed. Engaging target. Clear the flight
So,
deck.
this is a great reason why you want those jammers. So, if you're going to be getting broadsides, if you're going to be fighting
We're ready,
against them
sir.
regularly, it's going to be quite important
What are your orders, sir?
that
Cruiser online.
you've got that jamming capability. And having that extra firepower mixed in
Consider it
is
done.
going to be a very, very important thing.
Take out the
Actually, we're going to use Dauntless. Kill the broadsides.
Reporting. Targeting. Sir?
Because our jamming network can only protect us for so long.
Liberator cruiser here.
Try finding us now.
Oof.
You get what you pay for, sir.
Now, the good thing about the broadside is that it is very easy to deal with. So long as it's not hiding behind some really, really big tanky ship like a Praetor,
Weapons charged.
you should be all right.
Cruiser responding.
So, we're going to see if we can take him out.
All batteries open
Take
fire.
him out, take him out. So,
They've already lost. They just don't know it.
booyah. So, we've cleared out our orbit. Now, I'm going to give you guys the option. Originally, during this showcase, I actually was going to do the Rebels first. And I was going to be all like, hey, here's how air works against no air defense. Here's how air works against a very, very light air defense. But I think we're going to not do that. So, what we're going to do, just to show, I guess, the effectiveness of that early air and how well it can be, we're going to just do 5 units of T-47s.
Moving out.
Against,
Invasion
there's no
commencing.
outpost building here. This is just a Zuva, I don't know, or care how to pronounce that. The Hut laser. No! It crashed. Amazing. Our first crash of the day. Let's get this guy up here. Okay. Stand by. We're going to get that back online. So I'm going to be yeah, it's so Jover. RIP. See, these things happen. Dev build. But it's not. Is it really a Steiner modding group preview without a crash? Yeah. Cut to commercial quickly before anybody notices. Okay. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of all these new space maps? Do you think we've got remake on the ropes for visuals? Okay, we're back. Where's my ad?
Affirmative.
Tactical battle.
Oh,
imminent.
whoa, incredible. And then I'm going to send a couple of sector forces.
Transmission received.
Invasion
Because I don't know what caused that crash. I'll investigate later. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Quelor. No crash happened.
Can do.
We've got
Right, got it.
we've got our units coming down. By the way, just for those of you that don't know,
Moving out.
if you see this little arrow that's up here, this is a high ground bonus. That means, ooh, they got T-16s. That high ground bonus means that your units can see farther and shoot farther.
Choose your reinforcements.
I'm going to bring in Scion Squadron.
Moving to coordinates. En route. Moving to coordinates.
And all we're going to do... Oh, look at that. They're terrorizing the local people. See, this is what we need, that...
Base is under attack.
This is what we need air for. Oh, look at that. It seems like they're shooting down the T-16s.
Can I help? Will do. Ready. I'll do my best.
Yeah, this just... These maps, man.
At your service. Can do.
They just do it right.
Ready.
Okay.
Ready to pull the
We've
ears off a
secured.
Fondor.
Do you think we have enough air to knock out one singular anti-aircraft nest? Let's
We've
find
lost
out.
a build pad.
So
We've
we are
secured
taking
a
T-47s,
build pad. We've
and we are
secured a build
engaging
pad.
a laser AA carrying vehicle.
Changing course to acquire
We've
target.
secured a build pad.
Airspeeder moving out.
Ooh, they got flak. Okay, that changes the calculus massively.
Coming around.
So, laser AA, it's gonna cut through things. Flak does a lot of damage, a lot of defensive debuff, but you're also gonna notice that we were able to knock out those two skiffs.
Beginning attack pattern beta.
Now,
Unit destroyed.
if we were to try and use our aircraft to knock out this flak turret, what's gonna happen is we're gonna get wrecked because all the aircraft weapons have a reduced accuracy against these buildings. So unless you're doing something like a U-wing or a TIE Brute or you're firing ordnance at it, you need something else to be able to take these offline.
Choose your reinforcements.
So
Unit
that's just unfortunate, isn't it?
destroyed.
Well, since we're here, we
Right
might
away.
as well
Heading out,
use
sir. Right
human
away.
wave
Heading out,
tactics.
sir. Right away.
At
Heading out, sir.
maximum unit capacity.
Yes. Can I assist you?
Because that's how we do it.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative.
Now, because all of these guys have sprint, positioning becomes
Boarding in. Yes, sir.
a lot more relevant.
Right away. Moving ahead.
So, just to give you an idea,
Heading out, sir.
these guys can move.
Roger that.
And their extra speed is very, very useful. Oh, we've gained a command
Choose
post,
your
huh?
reinforcements.
Right
Boop.
away.
At
Heading
Boop.
out, sir.
maximum unit
Easy.
capacity.
Form up. Awaiting orders. Fall out, troops. Copy.
So,
I copy.
sector forces, they're about speed.
Let's move
Your
out.
Alliance army is
Reporting.
about positioning. Now, because they are lacking spread out, none of their actual unit stats or equipment or anything like that change. It's just the ability. Spread out is no longer there. You're gonna see how that changes the dynamic in the fight.
Let's go.
Look at that. We've overrun
Yes, sir.
the Black Sun.
Keep going.
For those of you that haven't been around in a little while, these mercenary recruitment
Base is under
guys,
attack.
I know that the Black Sun has captured it. Gangsters. They actually vary
Yes,
of
Commander.
what mercenaries
This way.
are buildable, so you can always switch things up in the fight.
Ready.
And we're
Over
gonna
there.
send some guys
Can
up
do.
here.
Yes. I'm here, sir. For the
Uh-oh.
Alliance.
Grenade launcher.
Right.
Just done it. Easy.
Ready.
Concussion grenades to lower the defense of the building. Rockets take it out.
We've
Affirmative.
secured
That's
a
how
build
Sect
pad.
Force does it.
Rebellion. Reporting in. Ready to roll.
Line available.
Now, a flak turret, the reason why the flak turret has heavy flak instead of the units getting it is because we still wanted the heavy flak, the flak turret to still be able to stop bombardments.
Our base is under attack.
There's the skiff, dead. Turret, dead. They got Mustafarians? Yeah.
Roger that. Got it. Moving out.
So we're going to use Sec Force there.
Heading out.
Coming from behind, guys. And this is, again, why that positioning is so nice, because now we can close the gap. They're encircled. We got him. It's Jover. Okay. So, I showed you guys air. I showed you guys kind of what that air interaction and things like that. Chat, if you guys have a good understanding of how this is going to work, well, I think it's finally time to showcase what a realistic assault might look like.
Imminent. Tactical battle imminent.
Don't care.
Corruption has been removed.
So, we are going for Coraban is the map.
Invasion commencing.
We're going to start with our air controller. I didn't stack the defenses too heavy. I put them with something that I would say is realistic. Now, just like with Hoth, Coraban has multiple sky environments that can happen. This one is my favorite, so I'm actually not going to reload and just go with this one. So, Air Commander, what is... Whoa! What is this? I believe what's happening is we're experimenting with a heal pulse for aircraft, so we'll test it out and see if that works or not. So, we've got our U-Wing. What we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of rebel infantry up there, and then we're going to go with a T-1B, T-1As, and our tank destroyers. So, evidently they've got a hangar up. We're going to keep our U-Wing in the back here.
I await your instructions.
Hover tank ready.
So, command vehicle, 2.5% bonus to all stats for all vehicles. The T-1A is so back. We got the little door in the back because the T-1A can now transport troops.
Yes,
So
sir.
what we're going to do
Hover tank acknowledges.
Yes, sir. Yes, Commander.
is we're going to get our rocket
Let's
guys
move out. Yes.
inside,
Let's go.
suppression
Your
guys
orders.
inside,
Affirmative.
the
I'm
officer
here, sir. Keep going.
inside. Now, previously I had shown
Ready.
that
This way.
the Arrow 23,
Choose
the
your
speeder that
reinforcements.
comes in this company, can transport one unit. The T-1As in your vehicle commander, these guys, we're thinking that these will be Tech 0, and they can transport 2. And then this, for your Tech 0, this is going to be your main transport, which is why you want those T1s.
Hover tank on it, sir.
I'll
So,
follow your
we're
lead.
going to go ahead and form at the bottom of this hill. And if enemy defenses get too tough, what we'll do is we will use a HTT, which, by the way, 450 health gunship armor. I mean, you saw how survivable the IDT was with 250 and no shield. So your HTT you're going to be able to make plenty of laps going to and from landing zones and providing that fire support. So,
Hover tank acknowledges.
we're going to go ahead, we're going to push up this side.
Following your lead.
And then, oh, it seems like they're engaging some of the
Reporting in.
creatures.
Plotting course.
Uh-oh.
Target confirmed.
Now, with what I was saying before
En
about
route.
TIE
As good
fighters
as
actually
gone.
being a threat, that is still very, very much true.
Ready for battle,
We've
sir.
located the enemy.
And we're going to be on the receiving end of that. By the way, Coraban, these guys being here. I love this. Lovely little lore
Follow
detail.
your lead.
But that's alright. He's going up against the Alliance Army.
We're right behind you. Ready for command.
You wing.
Lasers linked and ready.
You missed.
Order received.
Okay. Ooh, they got phase zeros here, huh? Infantry group stunned.
Hover tank on it, sir.
Guarding the rear.
So, if these ties are going to be a
Calling for me,
problem,
sir.
we're going to need something to clear
Fire
them
at
out.
will.
We've got our T1Bs. But the thing with the T1B is you can see the flak pod on the side there. Is that it's fixed. So the whole unit hull has to turn to be able to turn that flak pod. And I mean, that's what we get for being a low-tech,
Hover tank acknowledges. Going in.
kind of a low-tech solution. Okay, time to go, time to go, time to go.
Unit destroyed.
Well, that's not good.
Ready for battle, sir.
That means they've got complete unmatched. Now, our support guys they've dropped their stuff. Our vehicle commander
Reporting in. Over there.
carrying our units, and just reiterating again from last stream, the ATST buff. It's not really a buff directly to the ATST; it's to the particle cannon weapon type. The victim limit has been removed. What are they rocking? Army troopers, stormtroopers, phase zeros. Okay. We're going to capture this landing zone. And we're going to bring in some extra strike aircraft because it seems like we're going to have a problem here. Those phase zeros, they're doing some pretty nasty work.
Bombing run available.
So, what we're going to want is, I think we want Z95s to clear out enemy air. And then we're going to want U-wings.
At maximum unit capacity.
Uh-oh.
Destroyed.
Officer down.
Form up. Engage.
Okay.
Let's do some
U-wings, we're going to shut that down.
95 standing by.
And Z95s, we're going to start providing air-to-air cover. Now, for those of you that do not know,
Unit destroyed.
the Z95 is a kind of early multi-role. Ooh, that hurt. Multi-role fighter. But they are equipped with air-to-air missiles that do a lot of damage.
Hover tank acknowledges. Going in.
We can cover you.
Okay. It sounds like we might be in trouble here.
Choose your reinforcements.
So we've got this LZ secured. We're going to get
Course
a
plotted.
couple of units down, and then we're going to get a gunship down,
Heading
Army,
out, sir. Right away.
Rocketeers.
At maximum
And we're going to
unit
see if we can
capacity.
secure this LZ so that we can start applying pressure.
We're under fire.
Ready for battle, sir.
We lost the vehicle, Commander.
Can do.
Come on, boys, we got to push.
Meter ready.
You have to break through the sector.
Roger that. Right. I've got a problem.
Unit destroyed. Unit destroyed.
Transport ready.
Hover tank is ready for action.
Where's my U-wing?
Z95 here. Over. Accelerating to attack speed.
See, AA can be rough if you're not prepared for it.
Destination set.
So, we're gonna have a little bit of a
Choose your
little bit of dark side
reinforcements.
fun here.
Heading out, sir.
We're gonna sacrifice a unit into the pit for the holocron. We have to gain the knowledge that we seek.
Hover tank ready.
Bombardment available.
Armed and ready.
So,
Proceeding. On my way.
we're gonna head up here.
Hover tank acknowledges. Hover
Seems like
tank
we were
on,
able
sir.
to
Providing backup.
defeat them. Oh,
Going in.
spoke too soon.
Armed and ready. Reporting in.
So, with this lighting, this map really has that evil feel to it, especially with the lightning all around
Form
the
up.
Sith shrine.
Got it. I heal you, Sonny. Moving
Quickly,
out.
run to your deaths.
What are your orders? Moving out. As you wish.
HTT is rocking heavy particle cannons.
At your command.
So, let's
Right
see
away.
how this guy does. Oh, the other thing I completely blanked on mentioning. Oh, that's good. Is that there is a new flying vehicle category, so we actually can set different accuracies now for gunships and aircraft. Because before they were all just, you set accuracy against one, you set accuracy against all. Not anymore.
Ready for battle, sir.
Copy.
So things
Heading out.
like laser
Marvel
cannons
Noir.
have a much easier time dealing with gunships, and it just adds to the reason as to why we have that gunship armor. So, that's gonna wrap up. That's gonna wrap up the stream for today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just make a note for myself that this is where the recording for the main showcase is going to stop. I'm going to tab over. I'm going to put my overly large chat window on screen here. And then what I'm going to say is, do you guys have any questions for me now that we're done? I can go ahead, answer some questions. And then we'll be golden. No cuts to commercial. You know what, Luna? Just for you, I'm gonna hit the button. There you go. Cut to commercial. We'll be right back. And then am I supposed to say, and we're back, like right afterwards? Is that what's supposed to happen? I don't know. We're just gonna stall. Oh, geez, look at chat running 1,000,000 miles an hour in the stream. Okay. Man, that's funny. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave the Empire GC screen open, and I'm just going to let you guys speculate. Please don't change the ISD2. Unfortunately, we're going to have to. The ISD2 is too powerful for what it is. Same thing with the Dauntless. Those were our problem units. Are LAATs buildable? No. I'm not streaming on Twitch. Any plans for pre-Endor start? Most of the mod is pre-Endor. If you're asking for a pre-Yavin start, what I will say is that it's being considered. Valley of the Dark Lords in the center of the Coraban map. What's the ETA of this? Well, it's 1 month later now that you've asked me that. But if I'm being realistic, we still have a ways to go, because so far I'm showing a lot of the tactical stuff, and I'm not showing a lot of the GC mechanics. So there's still lots to do there, and there's going to be lots to show when the time comes. I will say this for all of you New Republic era fanboys, they are getting a just the teeniest touch of love. So at the very least, the New Republic will be getting an outpost so that they can feel a little bit more complete. Battlefront 2 stream when? The last one, obviously it wasn't nearly as popular as the AotR videos, because AotR and stuff is what you guys are here for, but we did a community Battlefront 2 night little ways back. You can see the VOD up on the channel with Jay the Gamer, Starry Sky, and honestly anybody in the AotR Discord that wanted to show up and join. So might do another one, because that was pretty fun. Yeah, I'm not going to go too hard on the ISD2, because we need it to be the best producible capital ship of the pre-Endor era, so don't worry about that. Implement the XR85 for the New Republic. If you saw a long time ago in mod previews, we do actually have a model that's like pretty much ready to go for the XR85. So I'm not going to say it's going to come this update, but we're trying to stack up some content, because it will happen at some point. It will happen. There will actually be a New Republic update. By the way, since I didn't address this at all, and maybe I make this as a special video, but thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. You guys were not only able to get me to 1,000 subs, but you got me monetized on YouTube. So I might try this whole being a YouTuber thing out and see how it goes. I'm not gonna try and like be, oh hey, it's the push for money or whatever. I'm not gonna ask you guys to like, comment, subscribe, or anything of the sort like that. If you like the content, you like the content. If you watch an ad, you watch an ad, and I appreciate those of you that do. Same for anybody that wants to donate to the stream. So just, showing my appreciation for it. And maybe I'll try and just engage with the community a little bit more with things like game nights and whatnot. So I'll try and just post stuff on my the community tab, wherever the post comes, so that we should be good on there. Now let's see. Do you guys have any more questions for me based on what you've seen? 10 gazillion more red arrows in the thumbnail. You know what? This was like the first thumbnail that I had actually properly edited for, by sticking that live icon in there. Another YouTuber, the Starry Sky. You guys have probably heard of him. Sent me a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be helpful in making thumbnails, and gave me some tips and tricks. So who knows, I might get a little bit more creative than I was in the earlier days of the channel just 6 months ago. So shout out Starry Sky. I want some fighter paths, kind of like how only infantry and certain units can access certain areas, but make it in space. I have no idea if that's possible, but that's something that could be interesting. I have no idea. Any ideas on what the next stream will cover? Honestly, what I'll say is Starry Sky was the guy that donated for the stream. So what I will do is I will shoot him a message and be like, "Hey, what is it that you want to see?" And I'm not gonna say it's a guarantee on what I'm gonna show, but it's just kind of what gives me an idea. Because Lazy was the very first donor to the channel, so he wanted to see like the Coraban map and the lighting changes that have been done there. Same with some of the space maps. So obviously, yeah, he had lots of other requests, but those were the ones that I could do realistically. Can the rebels sneak past independent planets? If they've got the stealth icon, where it's like a little yellow dude in a blue circle, then that means that those are units that can go anywhere on the map. And if they are ground battle capable, then they can strike behind the line anywhere. It is just the starfighters that can do the border raids. We wanted to kind of give a little bit more of that rebel feel, because as you saw, like the sector forces are a little bit weaker overall, but their raid capabilities are stronger, so you can lean more into that asymmetric feeling that you should be getting with the rebels, whereas before you could slug it out gun for gun with the Empire, and it just kind of felt weird. But no more. So what you're saying is I can pay you to show the stuff that I want to see? No. It's just I might consider it just a little bit more. Free blowy for potential release date. Yeah, funny. Okay. Oh, by the way, so how was my mic quality during the stream? Because I set up my mic in a different way, because previously I have a wired mic and the wire was just sitting on the ground. So if I moved my legs or really moved at all, it made a whole bunch of noise. So I ran the wire in a different way. So hopefully the mic quality is better. So it would be sick to have a small strike team supported by X-Wings like that episode in Andor. Yeah, a small strikes team supported by X-Wings. My absolute favorite is using Blue Squadron. The only reason why you don't want to build too much Blue Squadron is you have a elite fighter squadron build limit as the Rebels, so that's going to function as your Legion. You sound like a Snarlack. Audio is pretty good. I've been having a battle with like allergies for the last couple days, so I sounded a little funny today. But whatever. Who cares? We got the content that we needed to get out. So, oh geez, 94 current viewers. Nice. Mike setup is pretty great. Hope to see more gameplay and stuff like that. Yeah. One thing that I was considering doing, and just let me know if you guys are interested in this, is there's going to be a lot of development that's going to be happening. There's not going to be as much content to show. So I was thinking about making like some cinematics, like having space battles or something over with these new maps, just to show off some more of the lighting, some more of the environments.
So it should be just something to hold you guys over while we're continuing to work on the development. Is that something that you'd be interested in seeing? Is just cinematics showing off some of the ground maps and the lighting and all that? I know that there are some channels like let me see if I can actually look the guy up. I think it's Quality Star Wars Games or something like that, where he'll run like a poll or something on his channel to ask like what would win in a fight, and then he'll showcase like 1v1s or small fleet battles. All right, see ya, Craig. See ya, ADHD gamer. Thoughts of adding more Legends content like the Eclipse or Torpedo Sphere? Not for this update for either of those ships. Both of those would be things. If they did come, they would come for the New Republic era. We are planning to go into that era. Obviously, we're not going to go into, Thrawn's Revenge level detail with it, but we will go into that era. Resisting the urge to ask questions on the CSA, but will the fighter changes affect the minor factions in any way? Yes, they will. So those fighter changes that I said across the board, they apply to all fighter craft across the board. I know I didn't go into a ton of detail with this in the stream, but things like the fighter turn radius, if you saw fighters were making like wider loops, they were going, instead of making like a little circle like this, they were going like this. And because when they're going in this longer ellipses, they're actually able to make their full strafe runs. And I didn't have to babysit and micro the fighters to tell them like, hey, you have to turn and target very, very specific things. Any recommendation on places to learn how to get better at AOTR? Maybe on the channel what I might do is I might post like some tips and tricks or like tactics breakdowns or something like that, just to get people into the basics. AOTR does have a tutorial campaign, so when you fire up the game, there is a little tutorial screen that's gonna come up. When will this come to the testers? Whenever we release it to the testers. I know that all the testers are like frothing at the mouth right now because they've seen the streams and they really, really, really want this. Play more AOTR and lose your job, and eventually it'll be better. Promise. I'm gonna have a lot less free time coming up because I'm settling into a new job right now. Gotta start making clickbait videos about that. What I'll start doing is, instead of calling it AOTR, I'll start doing what a certain YouTuber does and just call it Empire at War and be like, I can't believe we did this to Empire at War, and just watch as my credibility and reputation just goes out the window. Am I quiet? Is that what you guys are saying? Am I quiet again? My mic is like super directional. So let me see if I can actually. Is that better? Okay. AOTR is live. Absolutely. I have been working on this project for a long time. So for me, almost 10 years I've been doing this off and on. Oh, so I think I turned myself up a little too much. Okay. I'll make adjustments for the next stream. Any plans on bringing these changes along more ground aircraft to AOTCW? Yes, these aircraft changes are going to come to the Clone Wars. We were in the process of making sure that they get over and balanced, along with some anti-aircraft units for the Clone Wars so that gunships actually have a counterplay. Honestly, with the Clone Wars, I wanted it to feel more like World War I rather than World War II. So I don't know if we're going to actually bring extra ground aircraft that aren't gunships over. So we'll see, but I think because the ground aircraft give a lot of options, like a lot of options that they used to they just give a lot of options, and if you have more options, you have more ways to throw your enemy off balance, which means it's going to be less kind of positional warfare or trench warfare, and that's going to feel less and less Clone Wars-y, in my opinion. Do I have a favorite hero unit for AOTCW and AOTR? It kind of depends on the faction. My favorite hero unit doesn't mean it's like the best unit. AOTCW, my favorite for the CIS is Lin Wodo. It's the Wodler, just because it's got the classic Battlefront 2 snail tank loadout, and it's really, really fun because it's a tank that has a shotgun that does splash damage. So, like, how can you not love that? For AOTR, for some upcoming stuff, I'm not going to go into detail on any of the new heroes in AOTR. I will say the traits and the trait system that is in AOTCW is coming to AOTR, and it really makes the units feel a lot better. And because there's such big stat differences in AOTR, you feel those traits a lot more. But you are going to... Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say that because I'm going to end up spoiling some stuff. But the generic commanders, I will say we're going to try and make them feel a little bit more unique than they do in AOTCW. So, with that being said, I'm just going to not answer that one, but say that some more interesting things are coming to the generics, and the trait system is coming. Would love to see custom unit creation so we can add ourselves as a hero to the campaign. Well, if you get good with XML, you can do it pretty easily, just because we are going to be refactoring the code base, because AOTCW's code is a lot easier to read and modify than AOTR's is, so AOTR is going to be brought up to that standard. Is there a way to get some ground rewards for missions like ATTEs for the Rebels, like Arc Fighters in space? Right now, ATTEs for the Rebels are not possible as mission rewards. I mean, I'd be open to considering it, because I think, especially with the Rebels' weaker early game, I think that maybe adding some Clone Wars leftovers as their early rewards for the Rebel early game, it could make sense. Not saying that it's going to happen or not, but it's possible. It's possible. I saw Dash Rendar on the Discord. He is an insanely handsome man. I guess it's June, you can say that. That reasonable AA for Clone Wars would probably make ground combat feel complete, but a part of me would still love to see V19s, Z95s, and Vultures on the ground. Maybe. We'll see. What's probably going to end up happening is we won't do it for a while, then somebody will experiment with it, and then we'll fall in love with it, and then it'll get added and released. Will there be more factions? Most likely not. Alright, see ya, Unstoppable. Thanks for jumping into the stream. So, unless you guys have any more questions for me, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I'll give it a few seconds for chat to pop up, and if no major pressing questions come up from there, then I'm going to cut this video up, get it released, and get you guys out of here. So all I can say is thanks for stopping by. Thanks for 1,000 subs, getting me monetized, and I'm gonna continue using the channel. I'm gonna see about another Battlefront 2 game night, because if you guys are interested, just stick around the channel. CSA overhaul, oh man, minor factions we're gonna go over that way later on down the line. I'm gonna have a couple other devs with me for that one. So okay, no major new questions. So see everybody. Thanks for coming out. So peace.